you have any questions from this week that you want to go over?
I got some questions. Not necessarily, well, I got a lot of questions, but
Okay.
one of the things I wanted to talk to anybody in the group about, if they have any feedback, is I am having a problem with some of these lead providers as far as they're saying that it's too many disputes, even though we're winning the disputes. Like Lead Zolo stopped sending me leads, and they said because I'm disputing too much. But I'm like, well, how many are denied? And they said, well, we do it based off of uh, total disputes, whether you win or not. So my question is, has anyone ever tried like doing another account under like a different email for the same lead provider to see what that would look like?
I haven't. I think everybody else on here is acquisitions managers, but I haven't done that. But you could do it. There's no reason that you couldn't do that. They don't track it back to your EIN. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
could definitely do that. I don't think
I,
there's anything wrong with it. What's your concern?
no, I was just seeing if it, yeah, because Lead Zolo, they actually do like a call with you, like before you just get an account. You don't just do it online. You have to like book a call.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if anyone's like ever done that. And I'm always wondering like, are you going to get some of the same leads? Like, from like if you have two need to sell accounts, my guess is you probably would from the same lead from both. Even though they say it's exclusive, I don't think it is personally, but
You should. You should try it. And then if they say that, I mean, what's the worst that happens? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean, I'm already not getting leads now. So,
Exactly. You tell
yeah,
them, hey, if I just proved that these are non-exclusive, then you just went, okay, cool. Like to shut them off
yeah,
and start bringing in your own marketing in-house.
yeah. Okay, that was my question. I got a question on the sales quick, if it's okay.
Perfect.
So, like, I'm looking at the script here, and one of the things that's missing in my sales process is the consequence question,
Yep.
because sometimes I feel like where it's at in the script, like, should that be before the the numbers part?
Should it be before? So let me explain the purpose of asking a consequence question. Right? There's a couple of things we need to find out on a sales call. I always say there's like the four big ones, right? Problem, the impact it's having on them, the solution, and then the impact that that's going to have on them. Like, how's their life different? Right? So when we're looking at consequence questions, it's to get them thinking about what happens if they don't take action. Right? And so where I see people mess up a lot is they say, like, well, what happens if we don't get you that price? Well, they say, oh, I'll just go with another company. Right? So I do recommend that you put it in there, and it's in this spot for a reason, right? So right here, when you go into the anchor, what's important to do is, okay, so let's say that I come back, right? And the finance team says, I don't know, they can only do like $45,000 for your property, and then you want 80. Like, what would you do? Would you just tell me to kick rocks? Yeah, I'd tell you to kick rocks. And then you could ask, well, what happens if everybody comes back at that same scenario? Are you just going to hold off on, going do X, Y, and Z? Are you just going to not go accomplish X, Y, and Z, whatever they said? And that will make them think about the consequences of them just being stuck on the price, right? I was talking about this with my acquisitions manager today because I bought like a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon completely impulsively for at the top of the market in 2022 when cars were going like, $10,000, $20,000 over Kelly Blue Book. And it was an impulsive decision because I got excited about what I wanted to do with the car. Right. And so I gave him an example. I went in there and I'm like, I'm not going to spend over $50,000 for this car. And the sales guy didn't do this, but this is what they could have done is say, okay, well, what are you going to do with the car? I'm going to take it camping. Where's your first trip? I'm going to go up to Big Sur. Okay, so what do you need? Like, you need the roof rack? Yeah, I need the roof rack because of the tent. Oh, that's going to be nice. How's that going to be when you're camping in Big Sur in your new Jeep? It's like, okay, it's going to be great, right? And then let's say the salesperson says, so what happens if you don't get the car for $50,000? You're just never going to go camping and you're going to just settle for not having a Jeep? I would probably reconsider my way of thinking because I'm like, well, no, I really want that thing, right?
Yeah,
So that is how you get people to think about what are the consequences of me not taking any action. So I do recommend putting it there, and I recommend it after the anchor for that reason, because it's like, okay, well, if you don't get this price, how are you going to solve X, Y, and Z?
Okay, but what happens if they say that the response is not, I'll find somebody else, and it's, well, we'll talk about it.
Well, good. I'm glad that I asked that, because that's what I'm here for. Like, I'm here to actually be able to think about all of the scenarios, so that way at the end of this call, you guys know what to do. If you ask a question and they say, well, I have to think about that, I don't know, then the best response is, okay, well, good. I'm glad that I asked that then, because these are things that we're going to need to think about, so that way you guys make the best decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess my question on that is, do you not go to the consequence question if their response is like, hey, no, I'd want to hear the offer?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So if you say like, if they come back with 150,000, should I just not even call you back and tell them to kick rocks? And like, no, I'd still want to hear it. You don't have to hit the consequence question every time, but you could even still hit that with, okay, and let's say like all the companies do come back at 150,000. I mean, at that point, would you guys just like stay in Texas and never move to your dream house in Florida? You could ask a question like that.
Okay.
And they might say, well, no, I would just go with the best offer no matter what.
Okay.
And now you know where they are in price.
Got it.
Cool. Good questions. Really good questions. Any other questions from you?
I mean, I got a ton, but I don't want to hog.
Let's see if anybody else. Mike, you got anything?
No questions today.
Daryl, Matt, Charlotte, Watson, you guys got any questions?
No, I'm good, man.
Well,
No.
I do.
What's up,
I
Watson?
do. So first things first, quick win today. I got a new deal under contract.
Boom.
North,
Let's go.
yeah. So locked it up for 183, and I'm pretty sure I can move it for about 199.
Heck yeah, dude. Good job,
So
bro.
that's good. Now in the script that I have I saw the consequence questions right after like the qualifying questions. Is there
Before.
any point? Yeah, before the before the qualifying questions. So is it appropriate to maybe ask the consequence questions before and then anchor and then ask it again, or do you want to preferably ask it right after the anchor?
The consequence?
Yeah, the consequence questions.
Yeah, preferably right after the anchor,
Okay.
because you can really ask it at any point of your call. The important part is that you understand what happens if they don't take action, right? So like, let's say for example, you guys have heard the call with Ray, right? I'm going to use that one as an example, because that was like the most dramatic consequence question. As she's like, my husband is in an assisted living facility, and I want to take him back into my own home, but I can't bring him in these current living conditions. And so I asked her, like, well, what happens if you keep pushing this off, right? And then 5 years goes by and you haven't been able to get your husband back into your house. What happens then? She's like, no, I can't let that happen. I need to take action, right? You could ask a qualifying question from there. Well, it's been a year and we haven't done anything so far. So how important is it for you now to actually take action, so that way another year doesn't go by while your husband's in that assisted living facility, right? You could say something like that. That would be an example of a qualifying question. Does that make sense, Watson?
100%.
And sometimes people give you, like, when you say like, how important is it for you to do this? They'll give you like a nonchalant answer. They'll be like, I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world if I don't go and invest my money in, XYZ investment. And then you can ask them another question. But yeah, like, but are you really willing to settle for that if you didn't have to? Like, well, no, I'm not willing to settle for that. That's why I'm calling, because I want to sell the property. Okay, so it sounds like it's pretty important. And then you can go into your next part. You're asking them, how important is it? That's why it's qualifying. How important is it for you to be able to do this? Right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Great question. What other questions do we have?
I actually do
I've
have
got a-
one. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
So I'm trying to well, I'm obviously not the best sales guy on here. I'm just a fucking implementer in our business. But Armando was asking me the other day, like he was really concerned about his tonality. And Armando, I think you may be on here now. No,
He's
not.
on here.
Oh
He
yeah,
just jumped.
Armando, you're in here. You were asking me about tonality, and you were worried about tonality, and I was saying that it's probably more important to just, rather than worrying about tonality, focus on trying to ask those uncomfortable questions and then do tonality later. So that way you get build the muscle of asking those important questions and actively listening and then actively responding to what they're saying with really good questions. And then once you get that down, focus on tonality later. What would you say to that?
Personally, I would recommend, I would flip that. Here's the thing,
Interesting.
and let me explain why. If I ask you a consequence question, so I say, like, let me show you a good example. I'll use that. So what happens if we keep pushing this off though? Like it's already been 4 or 5 months and we haven't done anything. What happens if another 4 or 5 months goes by? You don't take any action to sell the property and then home values end up dropping. I mean, what are we going to do? Right? That question is only paired with the tonality. And if you don't have that tonality, the seller's just going to get mad because it's tonality is the way the seller perceives why you're asking the question. Right? So if I say, well, what happens if we keep pushing this off though? And another like 3 or 4 months goes by and you don't do anything about it. What are we going to do then? That's a like condescending, challenging tonality, right? And they're going to get offended by that because you're asking them an uncomfortable question, but it's in like a condescending tonality, right? So I would rather you not ask any difficult questions until the tonality is perfect. Because if you ask like a really hard question with bad tonality, it will do the opposite effect. Instead of helping your call, it actually makes your call worse. You might even be better off not asking the question at all. Because it'll make the seller angry, which you're better off.
Interesting.
Yeah, being non-emotional than angry.
And Armando's on here now. Armando, do you remember exactly what you were asking the other day? I was trying to remember exactly, and I know that I told you to just try to work on answering or like responding with really good questions.
No, I mean, it was pretty much what you were saying. I was just kind of wondering, what was the most important out of those two. But John, that advice makes sense, and the tonality is way more important than the question.
Yeah.
So get better at tonality, and then the questions, right? Comfortable questions.
Yeah. And it feels weird sometimes. Like when you're first starting to focus on your tonality,
Right.
it feels uncomfortable. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm talking different. And that is what you're doing. And if you're focusing on your tonality properly, Jeremy hired an acting coach to help him with his tonality, his facial features, and his gestures. So, but he's one of the top salespeople in the world for a reason.
Wow.
Cool.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Mr. Mike, you had a question?
Yeah, I so rarely get this, but I actually have a gatekeeper to get through.
Okay.
This person, I guess I should probably skip the guy personal number, but he gave us his business line, and he has a secretary that keeps telling me that she's going to leave him a message and let him know that I called. I'm thinking she might not even be telling him that I called. He owns a body shop, and so it's I'm always getting the body shop, and it's the receptionist. I'm trying to get a hold of the owner of the shop. So I'm wondering if you have any insight on how to get through and actually talk to the guy.
I would first, like, if she already knows who you are, it's going to be difficult.
Mhm.
But the first thing I would do is say, hey, Mike asked me to call him. He said it was about his property on Oleander Ave. And so I'm just giving him a call back. Is he available now? It sounded like it was important.
Mm.
Oh, who's this? Yeah, it's just Mike, the home buyer over here. And so then they'll at least go, okay, well, let me see if he's available. Right.
Mhm.
That's the first part, because he probably gave you that as like as on purpose, because he doesn't want any salespeople calling him during the day.
Right.
So first thing I would do is that, right? The second thing, you could even say, oh, he reached out to me again. Hey, it's just yeah, it looks like he had filled out a form again. So it must be important. I think it's about his property on Main Street. And he asked that I give him a call. Is he available now? And then just keep working that. As in her whole thing is she's trying to filter out what's important for him and what's not.
Absolutely.
And if you make it sound important, she's going to question whether it's important, and she'll probably at least ask him, because the last thing she wants to do is not give him an important call.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I would try to do on the next one.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
appreciate that.
Of course. Let's jump. Isaac, you want to go back to your question? I know you had another one, and then we'll jump into a role play.
My question is, and I think you're gonna know, I think you kind of answered it, but I'll ask it anyway. So let's say this person's distressed and we go to, hey, let's say I, take this back to the partners and they come back with a number that's, 130,000, what would you say to do at that point? And they say, I would tell you to kick rocks, tell them to kick rocks, but this person is distressed.
I'm still going to make an offer. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would ask him, so what do you actually need to be able to take care of X, Y, and Z?
Okay. Now on that point, let's say we say, what do you actually need? And the price that they actually need, we know we can't pay. Do we say, yeah, I mean, that's what you need? Or, let's say, hey, I know that's what you want, but I mean, realistic, like, how much would you need to buy this house you're really wanting to buy? And they're still stuck on comps. Let's just say they still stuck on comps. Do you just kind of move on, because you don't want to, because what I've struggled with is then trying to, we built motivation and then we lose it when we start talking numbers. Then what do you do?
Yeah, exactly right. You just move on, and then you can bring up, if they're bringing up comparables, you can bring that up in your presentation phase, because if you don't bring up any comparables, they don't trust you, right? If they're bringing up comparables and you're just giving them like they're bringing up the top 3 in the neighborhood, right? That's what they always do. I'm going to bring up the top 3 comps in the neighborhood, and you don't bring up any, and you just give them this low offer. They just don't trust you. But what you can do is you can say, hey, look, we'll go over some of the comparables with you, with properties that are similar to yours, considering that we need to sell it in the next 30 days, and you're not going to be paying any realtor fees and commissions. So when you go through all of that, you can bring it up in your presentation phase as to why you came up with your offer.
Gotcha.
And I know you're probably wondering, like, well, our offer is going to be a lot lower than the comparables. You're right, but you can bring up some of the ones, like usually you can find some that haven't sold, or if they are, like, if it's a turnkey house, you can just be very transparent with them. I had a seller call me last weekend with a brand new construction house, and she's like, I have an appraisal for 2.4 million. I'm like, okay, well, and every comp in the neighborhood's selling for about that. And I was like, there's just nothing that anybody wants to do with this property. And like, if we're going to buy it, this is where we would need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to go logical in your presentation, there is a time for you to do it, but it's not where you are asking. So you are right. Just move through it and go over that in your presentation phase.
Okay.
Good question. So awesome stuff, guys. Who wants to role play first? I want to see some new hands role playing.
If no one wants to go, I'll go first, because I don't know if I'll be on the whole call.
Okay, you go first with Armando will be the seller, and then you guys will, or I'll have Armando go with whoever wants to go next. So if you guys want to role play, just raise your hand. I want you guys want to see some new faces role playing. I like that Armando raised his hand. So Isaac, ready when you are, man.
All right. Are we starting just at the top?
Yeah, start at the top. Armando, so he works inbound leads. He probably just bought a lead from like Lead Zolo. He's in the Texas market. So you just filled out a form online, and now Isaac's giving you a call.
Gotcha.
Yes. Armando?
Yeah, who is this?
It's just Isaac, and it looks like you filled out a form online about the house here on Main Street to kind of go over what it might be worth if you did decide to sell it in the future. Is that right?
Man, I've been getting a ton of calls like this. I mean, what's your offer?
You've been getting a ton of calls?
Yeah, I filled out a form online, and I've just been getting calls over and over again.
Man, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure, but and I'm not even sure if we would, be able to buy the house. I guess before we go any further, what was it about the ad that you saw online that, kind of made you want to look into this a bit further?
I mean, I just saw close fast. So, I mean, why not? Wanted to see what the offer would be.
Okay, and that makes sense how we can possibly help. And really, Armando, this first it's pretty basic, and I actually don't have a ton of time here. It's really more for us to kind of find out, a little bit more about the condition of the house, and also like find out when you might be looking at selling it. And really just to see, kind of like I mentioned earlier, just to see if it's even something we'd be able to purchase, if that makes any sense.
Right.
But I kind of got it pulled up here. Can you confirm the beds and the baths for me?
Yeah, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, like 2,000 square feet. It's a beautiful home. It got brand new windows, a new door, new light fixtures. It's a very beautiful house. I got a closed-in fence. Got a little pool in the backyard.
Okay,
Top as well.
and yeah, sorry, or didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm just trying to take some notes here on the condition of it so you don't repeat yourself.
Gotcha.
But I mean, seems like a really good property. It's a good area. Why are you even thinking about selling it?
Well, I mean, just do I have to give you a reason?
No, just curious.
Well, I mean, me and my wife have been having some trouble, and I just I don't know. We've thought about separating, so just want to see what our options are.
Man, that's tough. Is that something you guys have been dealing with for a while now?
I mean, I'd rather not talk about it.
Okay, completely understand that. And you mentioned you've already had a couple people calling you and all that. How has those conversations went? I mean, have you actually found what you're looking for yet?
And so they always have these conversations with me, and some give me offers, some people don't give me offers. I'm getting quite tired of it now. So I mean, now I haven't really found anything I liked.
Okay, the offers you've been getting, is there anything in particular that you didn't like about those?
I just think they're too low.
Too low. Yeah, and we've actually heard that a couple of times. And I know you kind of mentioned that, you and your wife are kind of not seeing eye to eye right now. Have you guys even had a chance to discuss like where you might move if y'all did sell the house?
I don't care where she goes, but I'm going to Texas.
Going to Texas. Okay. And have you guys even had a conversation? Like, does she know you're out there looking for options to sell the house?
Yeah, she's on board with it.
She's on board. Okay. Have y'all talked about like a possible time frame for you guys like moving? Because I know you still need to kind of find some places to move.
Yeah, as soon as possible if we can.
As soon as possible. And then Armando, I know, kind of off the record, do you guys feel like you guys selling the house and moving separate places is really the best thing for both of y'all?
I mean, yeah, it's gotten ugly, so I think it's just space between us is probably what we need.
Okay. And are you guys going to try to work it out in separate places after you sell the house, you think, or are y'all just going to split up?
I mean, I don't know, probably just split up.
Okay.
Sorry, looking for lawyers.
Okay. Man, that's tough. Well, I want to see what we can kind of do to help you with the house here. And at that point, I'd probably go into condition.
Okay. So good job with your tonality. Your tonality is getting a lot better. Armando, you pushed back on a couple of spots. Explain why you did that. Because I think a normal seller might have done the same
I
thing.
wanted to see what he would do, what Isaac would do.
Okay. One of the things is if I were a seller and someone went straight into my divorce without talking about the property 1st, I probably would say something similar. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'd rather not talk about my divorce.
Yeah.
Like, let's just focus on the property. But what you can do there, Isaac, is Armando, role play with me for a second. So the thing I would want to do is ask him, like, I want to confirm, hey man, like, do you live there? Is it a rental? Oh yeah, I live there. Oh, cool. And then you've been here for a really long time, right? What's got you even considering moving? Right? Because he's talking about all these good things. You asked him right at the beginning. And I think the more you do that, the more you're likely to get, why does that matter? Or why do I have to tell you why I'm selling? When you ask them right at the beginning why they're looking to sell, they're just used to hearing that, and you'll get that resistance right off the bat. So I like to build a little bit of rapport with them first through that situation phase. See if I can understand, without having to ask them, understand why they're looking to sell, right? So, oh, do you live here? Okay, how long have you lived here? And the property, I mean, you sound like you really like it and you enjoy it. Why would you even consider possibly selling it? With a really concerned tonality right there. Then it's going to make more sense when you're asking that you're actually curious. You say, oh, me and my wife are just considering getting a divorce. Instead of saying, how long has that been going on? You can ask, oh man, does she live in the house with you right now? Oh gosh, how have you been doing? Right? Because that has an exact tie to the house. They live together in the same house, right? And they're thinking about getting divorced. It's probably not a good environment for them, their family, everyone that's involved. And that will build a little bit more urgency, but you're still asking them questions directly related to the house. That's actually the most common thing I hear in divorces, is they're living with their ex. And they're like, it's miserable because their kids are hearing them fight and things like that. It's really rough. So that's the biggest tweak I would go into there. The other part, Isaac, is I would try to avoid falling in the trap of, when they tell you about another offer, jumping in right there. Because remember, the entire first part of the call is just lowering resistance. Just making sure that we're lowering that resistance and getting them to trust us. So then they will give us real answers. And I'll give you an example. I just got off the phone with a seller on a property that we're having to cancel. And, now, like, their cards are all on the table. And and I asked them something about another offer that they had. And they were like, well, the guy, like, when I looked up his name, he hadn't paid his federal taxes in like 3 years, and that showed up. And so it just was a huge red flag for me. Well, they never told my acquisitions manager that, right? But that would have helped us a lot in our negotiations if we came in at the same offer. So it's all about getting that information, but they only give it to you once they trust you. So I would just maybe spend a little bit more time on the front talking to them about the property before you dive right into, well, why didn't you take those other offers and things like that. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Good job, though, man. Armando or Isaac, do you have any questions before we move on?
No, I don't.
Cool. I think there was one other thing I wrote down for you. Let me check. He said, what's your offer right at the bat? And I would like to hear you dive in when he says, "What's your offer?" Yeah, I'll certainly get into that. Obviously, we would need to know a little bit more about like the property and your time frame just to see if it's something we can buy. For some reason, you went through like what was it that they saw in the ad without addressing it. And if somebody ever gives you like a concern or like a little bit of an objection and you don't address it, it builds. So they feel like you're not listening to them and it just builds and builds and builds. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
So that was it. You said you don't have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Cool. Good job, man. Mr. Armando,
Yes, sir.
let's see. Who's going to be the seller for Mr. Armando? I know, Isaac, you said you won't be on the whole call. Mr. Mike?
Absolutely.
All right. Ready when you are, Mr. Mike and Mr. Armando.
All right. Hey, Mike.
Who's asking?
Hey, this is just Armando. It looks like you filled out a form online to go over what your property might be worth in case you ever decided to move on. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to collect some cash offers. I want to get out of here.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, this call is pretty basic, really. It's just some more for us to get some more information about property's condition and a timeline of when you'd want to move out. So, just so I get a good understanding, from the ad that you saw, what about it, interested you to, kind of look a little bit deeper into it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking to sell, and it came up just at the right time. So,
Just at the right time?
yep, yeah, just happened to be looking to sell, and you know how those cell phones are listening to us. It showed me your ad.
Oh yeah, no, I gotcha. Okay, well, yeah, just so I get a good understanding, can you confirm to me the bed and bath count and the square footage, please?
Yeah, it's 3-bed, 2-bath. I think it's about 2,200 square feet. It says 1,100 on the on like that Zillow site, but I got the finished basement, so I think it's 2,200.
2,200. Okay. And on my end, it's showing that you have a mortgage of about 50 grand. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, that should be about accurate. Yeah. How'd you
Okay.
know that?
It's just in our files right here. It's kind of public information. And about the property, can you tell me your relationship with it? Are you still living there, or is there tenants?
Oh, well, I have a sweet loving relationship with it. And it's yeah, no, I live here. I live here. I've lived here for 25 years now.
25 years. Wow, that's quite a while.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And do you have a place lined up in case we do buy this property?
I just bought a motorhome. Just bought a motorhome, and I think I'm just gonna be a nomad for a little while.
Motorhome. Cool. Where at?
It's parked in the yard. It's parked in the side yard right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, I was just asking because, the last thing we'd want to do is, kick you out into the street. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I ain't going in the street, that's for sure.
Right. Well, besides, you just seeing the ad and it was perfect timing. What about the ad? What about it did you really kind of make you want to take action now?
What about what? About the ad?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It just was the right timing. Like you mean what it said?
Well,
Yeah, question. Start. I just want to, because I know you just tripped that question up. Completely fine. Ask it from the problem awareness question, so we can get into the right phase, so that question doesn't spin you into a rabbit hole, because it could. But let's just start from a new problem awareness question, right?
Okay. Yeah, trying to think of a pain point. So Could you I mean, is there anything really that needs renovating with the house?
Okay, let's pause. Just because I don't want to go into renovations here.
Okay.
So I'll role play with Mike for a second and kind of show you where I would want to go right there. Mike, a motorhome, where are you headed?
Mm,
Oh, you know, I've never been out west. I've heard it's beautiful. I've really wanted to go out there.
Oh, west. Okay, that could be Oregon, that could be California, it could be Vegas. You gonna go spend all your money, or where are you headed?
Yeah, I'm thinking all of it.
All of the above. How long have you been
All of
wanting
it.
to do
Yeah,
that?
I've only ever seen the Mississippi once, let alone been west of it.
Okay. How long have you been wanting to do that?
Oh, a long time. You know, I probably about the last 15 years I've been talking about it.
15 years, man. What came up recently that made this more of a priority to do now?
Well, I just I just got I just got retired, and you know I'm ready to finally make get out of this town. You know.
Oh, cool. And then so now I just found the urgency question. He just retired. He's ready to move. That's why now is the right time, right? This has been something he's wanted to do for 15 years, and I can bring that up later, right? Do you really like? Let's say he holds on a price at the end. You really want to push this off for another year or two just for some money, man? Like just between you and me, right? I can ask him those questions because I know what he wants and how long he's been wanting to do it. Right? I can help him think about the reality. Is he willing to settle for a lower quality of life for a longer time? Because but I would just say, look, man, you can't take any of that money with you. How important is it for you to be able to enjoy the rest of your retirement and do the things that you've been wanting to do for the last 15 years? You can ask those questions now that you know that information. Make sense?
Mhm.
I saw the question you were looking for. I wanted to help you out.
yeah,
We'll pause right there so we can get the other two role plays in.
sweet.
So one of the things that you did really good was right when he said right timing, you mirrored on that. Right timing?
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, right timing. I'm just I'm really thinking about selling now. That was a really good job. You did miss the expectation part of the call where you let him know like, hey, this call is pretty basic. It's really more for us to do this, right? Whatever that is for you. If you're going to set an in-person appointment, if you're going to give him an offer at the end of the call, it's helpful for him to know that what the process is before he goes in. And so I would make sure you include that in your script.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody have any questions on any of that? No? Everybody good? Who was next? Was it Matthew or Watson? It doesn't tell me the order.
Watson, Charlotte, you need to get in there.
Watson, you go first, and then we'll go to either Matt or Charlotte. So Watson, why don't you be who wants to be a seller for Watson? Watson's going to be the home buyer. Who wants to be a seller?
I'll be a seller.
Mr. Matthew will be
I'll be a seller. I raise my hand to be a seller.
Okay, good deal. You can throw anything at Watson. Watson's ready for you. Watson, you ready, man? You're on mute, by the way.
I am pretty ready, but I do have a scenario that I'd like to go through because I've got a situation with a seller that I've been reaching out to for the last couple of months. And
hey, I'll be whatever you want me to be.
all right, awesome. Yeah, and we were pretty much stuck on price, and I don't know if I didn't get enough problem awareness or solution awareness, but she just felt as though that she was leaving too much money on the table. We offered her 50, and she really wanted like 80, and I know I could move it for 70, right? So that's the scenario there, and I just looked it up, and I just realized, like literally while we were on this call, I looked up the property on PropStream, and she just listed it. So she listed it for 125, which is what she told me she originally wanted for it. Now, I doubt she's going to get that, but at this point, I did call her this morning, and she said she would call back. She didn't call back, so I'm going to give her a call, but I'm just trying to, set the stage to have a productive call with her.
So you
Got you. So basically, I just listed the house. you were gonna offer 50.
Yeah,
I
you wanted
80.
80, and then you felt as though
That's
that
where we at.
dealing with me, you were going to be leaving money on the table.
What is the reason she wants to sell the
Gotcha.
property?
She inherited the property, and she felt as though the property was deteriorating, and she wanted to sell it so that she can start, her own business. That's pretty much it. And I don't think, now that I'm going through some of the training here, I don't think I built that gap. Even though we've talked like forever, all of our conversation has really been around, her getting comfortable with the price at 50,000. And no matter how I shaped it or twisted it or finessed it, she always felt as though that she was leaving money on the table.
Yeah, because she doesn't trust you with the values of the home. That's why she thinks that you're not telling her the right value. She thinks it's worth 125. Some realtor convinced her to list it for 125, knowing that it's going to sell for probably $80,000. But
Mhm.
the realtor was able to sell the dream of what she wanted. So I think if you try to role play the second call, you'll get really good at, or you'll get better at doing a call where somebody already listed the property and there's really not much we can do with it anymore.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I would say let's role play the first call where,
Okay.
so Matthew, that you want to list the property as well, but you want to sell your business and the property's been deteriorating. How long has she owned it for?
She's owned it it's been in the family for decades, right?
How
And
long?
when her mom passed away,
He was saying it got left to her.
yeah, it got,
Someone died, left her the property.
But how long?
yeah.
There we go.
I believe it was maybe 2 years ago. The
Okay,
person
so
had passed away, and I actually
I'll-
had already gone. I took a look at the property, and I got pictures.
start from the situation phase, and I want you
Okay.
to where what's your relationship with it, how long has it been vacant, whatever that looks like, and I want you to really work on finding the problems that she's having with the property and what will she do with that money. That's what I want you to figure out. Well, because Matthew is not going to be a very good woman. So Matthew, you'll be the seller. You inherited the property 2 years ago and you want to start your business.
All right. Hey, Matthew, just so I have an understanding here, and just to make sure we know what we're looking at, just to confirm, looks like we have a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, with about 1,100 square feet. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. And on my end here, it doesn't show that you have a mortgage on it. It looks like the property's been in the family for decades now. Are there any loans on it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
My mother left it to me when she passed, so unless she had something crazy going on.
Okay. Well, I mean, at this point, are you paying a mortgage? And I said she's passed. If there was a mortgage on it, it would need to get paid. Are you paying on the mortgage, or is somebody else paying?
No, I've just been having to pay the taxes on it every year.
Okay. All right. And again, I'm sorry to hear about your mother's passing. I'm sure it's difficult to finally get to the point where you're ready to sell the home with that in mind. Now, let me ask: are you living at the property, or is it being rented out right now, or is it vacant?
No, it's empty.
Oh, it's been empty. Okay, all right. Well, how long has it been vacant?
Oh man, since she passed, and it's been a couple of years now.
Yeah. Oh man. So, I mean, with it being vacant, obviously there's expenses and things and upkeep to take care of the property to make sure that it's not falling apart on your hands. Like who's actually responsible for the yard and the property taxes and things like that?
Well, you're talking to the lady.
Talking to the one in charge.
Yeah,
Right.
you are.
Okay, cool. Now, how long have you been, taking care of the property at this point?
Well,
Pause.
I was helping her cut the grass before, So, but I've been responsible for the taxes for the past year, so since she passed, it's how long. But, I enjoyed going over there and cutting her grass when she was still around.
Okay. All right. So good on you for, making sure that, while she was still around, you were taking care of things for her. Sounds like you were a pretty good kid to her.
Well, I don't know about that,
You don't know
Uh,
about that? What do you mean you
yeah.
don't know about that?
Hey, you got to take care of what's yours. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I always say that, there's nothing more important in life than the time that you have and the people that you spend it with. And especially when it comes to family, right? You want to make sure that you do everything
Amen.
you can to take care of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Glory
Yeah.
be to God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, just so I can understand here the rationale behind why you might be looking to move on from the property, besides obviously, taking care of your mom's estate and making sure that, all of her wishes are taken care of with the sale of the property. Like, what's the main reason that you're possibly looking to sell the property now, rather than, I don't know, just putting it on the market and paying a realtor to take care of it for you?
Re-ask that question without saying rather than just do that. So it's been vacant for 2 years. Why?
So yeah,
You're good.
yeah. So besides taking care of your mom's estate, what's the main reason you're probably looking to, sell the property now?
Oh, well, it's just, I've been dealing with it for 2 years. I've been telling myself I was going to go in there, fix it up, and, turn it into a rental, or maybe we were going to
Hmm.
move over there. That way we didn't have a mortgage in my house. But, I mean, you know how it is. You got life that
Hmm.
happens, and we just
Yeah.
haven't been able to get over there. And so we just, I'm tired. It's just been dealing with it for too damn long.
Yeah. It sounds like you have other priorities in mind outside of this house.
Yeah, we do. I do. You know, yeah, I got priorities.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, and this is where I'm a little stuck here. So, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense then. I mean, you've got other priorities going on, but why take care of this now, instead of 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, my kid's going off to college,
Oh, your
and
kid's going off to college?
yep,
Nice.
yep, and he, of
Congrats. Where are they
course,
going?
they're going off to Arkansas Graduate School of America.
Awesome. 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 I'm sure you were glad to get them out of the house and having them get an education.
Well, I mean, I was until I got to pay for their school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an expense. That's an expense.
I mean, it's
So,
huge. I think tuition is like $40,000 a year,
oof,
and
yikes.
my I can't tell my daughter no,
Of
So
course. Of course. Of course. So, I mean, how does selling the house impact what you got going on with your kids, going to school?
well, I want the best future for them, and
Mhm.
like I just really believe that if we get this house sold and are able to get a couple of years worth of tuition in the bank account, then she'll be able to
Mhm.
go to school, be set up for
Absolutely.
success.
Absolutely. All right. That sounds great. That sounds great. That makes sense, right? I mean, we've helped plenty of sellers in your exact situation who wants to do exactly what you've been doing with your family, looking to use a house as a means to really just take care of them and set up their kids for, the future. Actually, last year we helped one seller. Her name was Nikki. We helped her move out of her home in North Philly, and she actually moved to the other side of the state, in Pittsburgh, simply to put her kids in a better school system, to move out of the hood in Philly and get them in a better place for their education. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that, and we've definitely helped a lot, quite a few sellers with that. And you know, based on how we could possibly help you and what kind of makes us a little different, we worked with about 10,000 different hedge funds, REITs, and investors, and a lot of them can pay a lot.
Let's pause
more.
right there.
Okay.
Good job, Watson. Really good that you're able to find that information out. Now, I'll tell you what would make this person sell to you versus somebody else.
Okay.
The one thing is, so like if I am going to sell my house to pay for my daughter to go to college, why? Why am I going to do that? Right?
Because you don't have the funds in hand.
Okay, sure. But why not? That's one reason. Why else would, but why would I do it?
Because there's no one else to do it.
Yeah, but some parents just like tell their kids to figure it out. So why?
I mean, I guess, you know, he cares about his kids to the point where he's willing to do it himself.
Yeah,
You don't
so
know why until you ask, you know?
you got to figure that out because that is
Yeah.
going to be the reason that they make a decision. Is the
Ah,
reason that selling that house so they can get money to pay for their kids' school gives them some sort of feeling that they are doing the right thing.
mhm.
And so, if you guys were on the call on Wednesday, Jamari, or Tuesday, I don't remember. Jamari asked a question about money, and I told him about a exercise I did with a coach. It's like, why do you do everything that you do? Right? It goes down to the root of why do you do everything that you do? It's important to know that about yourself. So for me, my number one driver is being a provider. Right? So like, I would happily work 18 hours a day for 3 years if I had to afford for my kid to go to college. If I or like afford him XYZ, right? If that was what I wanted to do, right? If I want him to go to college and XYZ, like I would happily do that. Why though? Because not everybody would. So why? So when you find that deeper why, that reason that drives them, then you are the person that helps them become that person, the provider, right? So you could ask a question like Matthew, if you want to jump into a role play. But Matt, I mean, man, selling a property and paying for your kids' entire college, I mean, that's not normal. What's making you decide to do that?
I mean, that she's really passionate about nursing, and she really wants to get into the best nursing school in the state, and I want to help her do that. And we've got this house that's just been sitting there, so and we can't afford it right now, like with the money that we've got in the bank.
Yeah, I know that affording the house could be tough, but selling the property and using all the proceeds to pay for your daughter's college, man, no parents are doing that nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, we really love her, and like that, we just got to get her in school. And you know, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, you know, we could probably use the help in other parts of the life, you know. So
The help in other parts?
I tell you what, you
So we'll
know,
pause right
just
there.
helping with
Just
Yeah.
because did you hear when I mirrored? He kind of went, you'll hear sellers do that where they're like, and then they start opening up, right? You found the thing that they are actually looking for. When you ask and you mirror and they go, you know what? Like they just tell you what's really going on. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I want to hit them with that label. Like, man, why is that so important for you to be able to pay for your daughter's college? Right. Because no one's doing that these days. Right. Or, man, not a lot of people are able to do that these days. No one's doing that these days. Sounds like it's pretty important for you to provide for your daughter in that way. Yeah, I would say it's probably my number one most important thing. Got it. Well, I want to be able to help you do that.
Yeah. And one thing I will say, Watson, like whenever I finally opened up and told you that, like I was like, all right, I'm going to start letting him know some information. And then as
Mhm.
soon as I was like ready to open up to you, you went into pitch mode.
Yeah, you got to be
You know what
careful.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna bring that up. That's a good point, Matt. Really good point.
Mhm.
you want to, he told you something, and then you're like, well, we've helped this person do this, and we work with
Mhm.
investors, so we do this. That's a trap. You want to really, the more you can lean back and refrain from going into your pitch, the better, right?
Okay.
Until you ask those consequence questions. Well, who's going to pay for your daughter to go to college if you don't sell the property? Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Sounds like it's pretty important for you to sell this house so that way she can go to college. And when does her tuition due? Oh, it's due in 60 days. Okay, well, since we're on a timeline, here's what I recommend that we do. Now you're coming from a place of I am helping, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense.
What questions do you have? Or what feedback? Does anybody else have any feedback? You had a question, Watson?
Yeah. So when I'm re-engaging older leads, because I've got a couple hundred leads in my database that I really want to start to re-engage. I bought like 8, 9 numbers, so I'm going to start contacting them through different numbers.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that I'm going to be able to connect with a couple of them after not talking to them for a couple of months. So, what would be, an ideal framework and approach to have a conversation with someone that I've probably made an offer on their home and they didn't like it, and now they're ghosting me, or they recognize the same number and I'm calling them from a different number, and I'm now going to re-engage them.
Yeah, I do that all the time, and I just tell them, oh yeah, we just switched systems and we got a new number.
Mhm.
And so but then I just follow this script. I'm throwing it in the chat right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if we should. It looks like you had reached back out. You reached out to us back on this date. I like to use the one right here where they say, I believe the timing wasn't quite right.
Okay.
That's usually how I open that up. Yeah, I think we gave you an offer on your property on Main Street, but I believe the timing wasn't quite right. Did you already sell that property, or were you still out there looking?
Boom. And then from there, would you go right into situation?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Fair enough.
Just remind me, it's been so long. You guys live there, right? And then you can just start asking him questions again.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you guys so much.
Of course, man. Great work. All right, guys. That's all the time we have for today. Matthew, if you want to I don't know if you want to raise your hand, a role play, or be a seller. I see your hand still up. Did you have another question?
No, I don't know how to put my damn hand down.
I don't know what to do with my hands. All right, cool. I will see you guys
See ya.
tomorrow then. Hope you guys all have a great day. Bye.
All right, see you.